We got another question from Uzi Spit from Madera, California. He wants to know, what era of graffiti did you enjoy more, the 10 years ago or 15? And that's San Francisco or Oakland.
That's an interesting question. I grew up as a kid seeing the graffiti in the 90s. It was on a different level than what you see today, because I think people who were out in the 80s and 90s were pushing graffiti on a high level of art.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty much all illegal at the time, but it was like people were basically doing illegal murals. Like, you could look at the old school photos of like Silver Terrace playground, where like the whole walls are covered in elaborate pieces, like really technical stuff, characters, backgrounds. My era was dope in the early 2000s, but it seemed like, the more time went by, the more gentrification went on, the more like tough on graffiti that the city got in terms of the laws and in terms of painting over stuff really quick. It seemed like the artistic side kind of faded a little bit, where cats were more into just straight up bombing and vandalism and just tagging and hitting stuff up. But you know what? And then Oakland.
That's a good point right there.
Yeah, man. I think it has a lot to do with the city really trying to crack down and present this crispy, clean image. But, I think like about 10 years ago, I saw Oakland like really explode. Because Oakland ain't got money for all that stuff.
Yeah.
They ain't got money to go around buffing. The cops got worse things to deal with than some taggers. So Oakland is like, it's just been exploding. There's so much graffiti. I've never seen anything like it. I think there's even more graffiti going on in Oakland than there was back in the day. And even in the city right now, I'm meeting some of these kids, talking middle schoolers. They're going out and they're getting up. And
they got a different
thing.
passion for it too.
Yeah, they do. They're really passionate about it and they're interested. But I'm hoping that some of these kids start coming out with that artistic side. Like, don't just get up with style. Put up some of these pieces, put up some of these characters, and really make yourself stand out. Like tagging is cool, like bombing is cool. I'm down with all that, but I want to see people push the art, because as a kid, I just saw the most inspiring stuff ever on the walls of San Francisco.
Who would you say is probably being a San Francisco native, who was probably your biggest artistic inspiration?
I mean, even though he's from Oakland, it was Mike Dream. Because he died, I think right when I started doing graffiti.
Wow.
So he was already like an immortal legend. And it was just pretty clear to see like what he stood for in terms of street consciousness. Being a Filipino cat that could connect with all different cultures and still push his heritage. The illest style, to me, he had the illest style that nobody else has been able to duplicate to this day in the world. I really think like he's one of the top graffiti writers to ever live. And even though, like I said, he was from Oakland, he always inspired me. He continues to inspire me.
Right. And when it comes to graffiti, would you say originality trumps all, or is it style?
Style. It's skills, man. There's a lot of cats who get up in their own original way, and they definitely stand out. But when you see something that's technically executed well and painted, it's not easy to pick up a spray can and just create something.
Yeah.
So when you see somebody that really knows how to use that tool and really put something dope down, that's going to make you stick out forever. And graffiti is all about letters. At the end of the day, it's all about letter. Even if you're doing characters, even if you're doing symbols, it's like if you can just figure out how to do clean letters, you're always going to stick out in graffiti.
Right, right.